When it comes to relationships, one of the most puzzling experiences is dealing with someone who pulls away. Those moments when they seem to vanish into thin air, leaving you feeling isolated and confused. You might wonder, what did I do wrong? Or why won't they talk to me? But what if I told you that behind that silence lies a hidden opportunity? People often retreat into their shells, yet deep down they're yearning for connection and understanding. It's not just about you not talking. It's about what they secretly hope will happen when you stop reaching out. You see, it's easy to assume that their silence means indifference. However, they're often counting on your response. They know that when you withdraw, you're signaling your hurt, your frustration, and maybe even a plea for them to notice your absence. It's a psychological dance they've performed countless times before, with rules that are all too familiar to them. In their hearts, they might be hoping you'll break the silence and reach out, giving them a reason to reconnect. This intricate dance can leave you feeling like a puppet on a string, while they remain unfazed. But what if we flipped the script? What if, instead of waiting for them to make the first move, you took control of the situation? Think about the wisdom of the late Maya Angelou, who said, "If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude." Instead of waiting for them to decipher your silence, you can choose to express your truth. Your silence isn't a weapon to wield. It's a burden you carry alone, and it only weighs you down while they remain indifferent. Now imagine the empowerment that comes with standing firm in your truth. Instead of longing for them to notice your pain, you can confront the situation with clarity and confidence. This isn't about erupting with emotion or staging dramatic confrontations. It's about simply and unapologetically stating that you deserve better than to be left in the dark. When you step away from their expected game, you take back the power they may have unknowingly held over you. And remember what the great philosopher Seneca said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." So, I urge you to find that courage within yourself. Stop waiting for them to come back. Instead, embrace your own worth. Remember that your shared experiences in the comments help in a huge way. You can also declare with me, "I will live my truth." It's a powerful statement, and I invite you to write it in the comments below. By taking this step, you're not just reclaiming your narrative. You're also joining a community of people who are committed to growth and understanding. Support the Ace Wisdom family by becoming a channel member. Your contribution will help us create even better content and explore these essential topics more deeply. So if you're ready to discover the incredible possibilities that lie beneath the surface of stonewalling and how you can reclaim your power, stay with me until the end of this video. What's coming next will not only change how you view relationships, but will also empower you in ways you never anticipated. You'll learn a game-changing method that truly beats the no-contact strategy, transforming your approach to connection and healing. Remember, we are winners. We are far from weak. Let's get started. Strategy. Number 1. Taking back control of your own emotions. When you engage in no contact, it's easy to assume that you're in control of the situation. After all, you've decided to stop reaching out, stop investing your energy, and let the other person feel the weight of your absence. However, as powerful as no contact can seem in the moment, it often leaves you feeling emotionally vulnerable. It's like putting yourself on pause and hoping that time will make things better. But here's the thing. No one else is controlling your emotions except you. And if you're waiting for someone to act or apologize before you can move forward, you're handing them the reins to your emotional well-being. The truth is, you can choose to take back that power right now. As Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, famously said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." What Frankl highlights is that, no matter how painful a situation may seem, you have the ability to control how you respond. And while no contact might feel like a necessary break, it doesn't have to be the only tool you use to regain your strength. Rather than waiting for them to come around or make the first move, you can empower yourself by focusing on how you handle the situation. When you choose to take control over your emotions, you stop waiting for someone else to create the conditions that allow you to heal. Instead, you create those conditions yourself. This is where the game-changing method shifts. It's no longer about relying on someone else's actions or words to validate your feelings. It's about becoming the source of your own peace and clarity. Think of it this way. If you were a captain of a ship, would you let a storm dictate your course? Or would you steer the ship towards calmer waters? The storm may be intense, but it's your decisions and actions that can lead you to a place of safety and tranquility. The same applies to emotional turmoil. No one else can fix your emotions or heal your wounds but you. If you wait for them to take action first, you risk remaining stuck in a cycle of uncertainty and frustration. But by actively managing your emotional state, you move toward a sense of peace, regardless of what the other person does or doesn't do. This shift in mindset is incredibly empowering. You begin to see your emotions as tools for growth, not as reactions to someone else's behavior. Instead of letting their silence or withdrawal control you, you take charge of your narrative. As Tony Robbins, a renowned motivational speaker, puts it, "The only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment." Your emotional power isn't bound by the actions of others. It's limited only by your ability to choose how you respond. So the first step in this game-changing method is to stop seeing yourself as a passive player in the game of relationships. You're not waiting for someone to save you or make things right. You're the one who holds the key to your emotional well-being. When you choose to take back control, you stop being a prisoner to the whims of others and start living with intention, self-assurance, and clarity. The secret to emotional freedom lies in your ability to let go of expectations and focus on self-empowerment. As we continue in this video, remember that taking control of your own emotions is not a one-time action. It's a continual practice. By staying focused on how you respond to situations, you'll be amazed at how much power you truly have, and how that power can transform not just your relationships, but your entire approach to life. Strategy number 2. Embracing open communication. In the world of relationships, open communication is often hailed as a cornerstone of healthy interactions. Yet, when faced with silence or withdrawal from someone we care about, we might feel tempted to retreat further into our own shells, opting for no contact as a way to protect ourselves. While it may seem like a viable solution, this method can stifle the very communication that could bridge the gap between you and the other person. Instead, embracing open communication can transform your relationship dynamics in ways you may never have anticipated. Open communication is not just about exchanging words. It's about fostering an environment where both parties feel safe to express their thoughts and feelings. As Brené Brown, a leading researcher on vulnerability, once said, "Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change." When you choose to communicate openly, you invite vulnerability into the relationship. You allow space for both your feelings and theirs to coexist, paving the way for deeper understanding and connection. This is essential, especially when navigating complex emotions or misunderstandings that may have led to the silence in the first place. Imagine approaching the other person not with accusations or assumptions, but with curiosity and openness. Instead of saying, "Why are you ignoring me?" you might ask, "I've noticed some distance between us lately. Can we talk about it?" This simple shift in approach can be disarming and shows that you're willing to engage without judgment. You're creating a platform where both of you can share your perspectives honestly. This doesn't mean you should shy away from expressing your hurt or frustration. Rather, it means you frame your feelings in a way that invites dialogue instead of defensiveness. Embracing open communication means you're not just waiting for the other person to initiate the conversation. You take the lead, demonstrating that you value the relationship enough to address the discomfort directly. As Eleanor Roosevelt wisely stated, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. Fear often holds us back from confronting tough conversations. But by facing it head-on, you cultivate resilience and foster growth, not just for yourself, but for the relationship as well. When you initiate open communication, you're also showing a willingness to listen. Effective communication is a two-way street. It involves sharing your truth and being open to hearing the other person's side. This means actively listening without interrupting, allowing them to express their feelings without judgment. By doing so, you create a safe space for them to share their thoughts and emotions, which can lead to deeper insights and connections. Remember, every person has their own story and reasons for their behavior, and understanding those can help both of you navigate the complexities of your relationship more effectively. Embracing open communication can serve as a powerful tool for self-discovery. As you articulate your feelings and thoughts, you may uncover underlying beliefs or patterns that influence how you engage with others. This process can be enlightening, offering you a clearer understanding of yourself and your needs in relationships. The more you practice open communication, the more confident you become in expressing your truth, ultimately leading to healthier and more fulfilling connections. Remember that embracing open communication is a game changer. It's not just about avoiding misunderstandings. It's about creating a robust foundation for connection and intimacy. By fostering a culture of openness, you can break the cycle of silence and withdrawal, transforming your relationship into one characterized by understanding, compassion, and mutual respect. Open communication is a powerful antidote to no contact, and it can pave the way for healing and growth, both individually and together. Strategy 3. Fostering self-reflection and personal growth. One of the most significant aspects of overcoming the challenges of silence and withdrawal in relationships is the opportunity for self-reflection and personal growth. When faced with conflict or emotional distance, it's easy to fixate on the other person's actions and behaviors. However, true transformation begins when we turn our focus inward and assess our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. As Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Engaging in self-reflection allows you to examine your own motives and responses, ultimately leading to deeper self-awareness and personal growth. Self-reflection invites you to take a step back and assess what you truly want from the relationship and how your own behaviors may have contributed to the current dynamic. It can be tempting to place blame entirely on the other person when things go awry, but this approach often leads to stagnation. Instead, ask yourself critical questions. What are my needs in this relationship? How do I communicate those needs? Have I been clear about my boundaries? Reflecting on these questions can illuminate areas for growth, helping you identify patterns that may have hindered open communication or connection. Personal growth is not just about identifying areas for improvement. It's also about celebrating your strengths. When you engage in self-reflection, you begin to recognize the qualities that make you unique and the value you bring to relationships. As the renowned psychologist Carl Rogers said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." Embracing your authentic self allows you to show up in relationships more fully and confidently. You can approach the other person from a place of self-acceptance, which fosters a more profound connection and encourages them to do the same. In addition to enhancing your self-awareness, self-reflection also enables you to develop emotional resilience. When you take the time to understand your feelings, whether they stem from hurt, anger, or confusion, you gain the tools to navigate these emotions more effectively. Emotional resilience is about learning how to manage your feelings in healthy ways, which ultimately leads to more constructive interactions with others. Instead of reacting impulsively to their silence or withdrawal, you can respond thoughtfully and calmly, demonstrating maturity and emotional intelligence. The process of self-reflection often leads to personal revelations that can significantly impact your relationships. You may discover unresolved issues from your past that influence your current behavior, or fears that keep you from fully engaging with others. Acknowledging and addressing these underlying concerns is crucial for breaking free from old patterns that no longer serve you. As you work through these challenges, you become a stronger, more empowered individual, better equipped to foster meaningful connections. As we continue through this video, consider how you can integrate self-reflection into your daily routine, whether through journaling, meditation, or simply taking quiet moments to think. Making time for self-reflection can enhance your understanding of yourself and your relationships. By committing to this practice, you position yourself for continuous growth and improvement, ultimately enriching your connections with others. Fostering self-reflection and personal growth is a game-changer in navigating the complexities of relationships. By examining your thoughts and behaviors, you not only gain clarity about your needs and desires, but also empower yourself to approach relationships with intention and authenticity. Embracing this journey of self-discovery allows you to break free from the limitations of no contact, creating space for deeper understanding, connection, and ultimately fulfillment in your relationships. Strategy 4. Setting healthy boundaries. One of the most transformative steps you can take when dealing with the complexities of no contact and emotional withdrawal is to set healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not just about limiting others' behaviors, they're about knowing your own limits and communicating them clearly. Setting boundaries allows you to protect your emotional well-being while also fostering a sense of respect and clarity in relationships. As the famous psychologist Dr. Henry Cloud once said, "Boundaries are not walls. They are gates to protect what is inside, not to keep what is outside." Establishing boundaries is an act of self-respect that paves the way for healthier and more balanced connections. When you find yourself in a situation where no contact has taken place, or you've been emotionally stonewalled, it's easy to feel like you're powerless. But boundaries are a tool that empowers you to take control of your own life and emotions. Instead of waiting passively for the other person to reach out or make a change, you assert what you need in the relationship. Boundaries are about deciding what you will and will not tolerate, and they create space for healthier interactions. It's important to remember that boundaries aren't about controlling others. They're about taking charge of your own actions and emotional responses. Setting boundaries is particularly important when you're dealing with people who may have avoidant tendencies or who tend to withdraw emotionally. If you're constantly waiting for them to initiate contact or make the first move, you're allowing the dynamic to remain stagnant. By setting clear and respectful boundaries, you establish a sense of security for yourself and signal to the other person what is acceptable and what isn't. For example, if you feel neglected or undervalued, you might say, "I need us to communicate more openly and regularly for this relationship to thrive." This approach is proactive and allows both people to feel heard and respected, without one party feeling overwhelmed or disregarded. Dr. John Townsend, co-author of Boundaries, emphasizes that a boundary is a property line that defines where you end and the other person begins. Setting these boundaries allows you to establish your emotional territory, protecting yourself from being drawn into unhealthy patterns of silence or withdrawal. When you clearly communicate your needs, you also give the other person the opportunity to respect or negotiate those needs, rather than leaving things unsaid and unresolved. This openness fosters understanding and mutual respect, both of which are necessary for any relationship to thrive. Establishing boundaries also means learning to say no when necessary. It's easy to become entangled in the emotional demands of others, especially when we're afraid of conflict or losing a relationship. But in order to maintain your emotional health, you must be willing to protect yourself. Saying no doesn't mean rejecting the other person. It simply means that you're putting your own needs first and creating space for healthier dynamics. As the Dalai Lama wisely stated, we can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. Boundaries are a key part of making that peace with yourself, ensuring that your emotional well-being is prioritized. As we continue in this video, think about how setting boundaries can empower you. It's not about shutting others out or being rigid. It's about ensuring that you are honoring your own feelings, needs, and self-worth. By setting healthy boundaries, you become a more resilient and confident person, able to navigate relationships with clarity and grace. No longer will you wait passively for someone else to define your worth or emotional state. You'll take charge and create a healthier space for yourself and those around you. Setting healthy boundaries is one of the most empowering steps you can take to move past the cycle of no contact and emotional withdrawal. By defining your limits and communicating them clearly, you pave the way for more respectful, honest, and fulfilling relationships. Boundaries not only protect your emotional well-being, but they also provide the structure needed for a thriving and balanced connection. So, take a step back and ask yourself, what boundaries do I need to set to protect my peace and ensure that I am treated with the respect I deserve? Strategy 5. Rebuilding self-worth and confidence. When navigating the complexities of no contact and emotional withdrawal, one of the most powerful things you can do is focus on rebuilding your self-worth and confidence. Often, when we're faced with silence or emotional distance from someone, it can trigger self-doubt and insecurity. We may start questioning our value, wondering if we did something wrong, or if we're not worthy of the attention and affection we seek. But the truth is, your worth is not defined by another person's actions, and regaining your sense of self-worth is essential for moving forward and breaking free from the cycle of uncertainty. The process of rebuilding self-worth starts with recognizing that you are enough, just as you are. As the legendary Maya Angelou beautifully said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." When you internalize this wisdom, you stop allowing external circumstances to dictate your feelings of self-value. Whether someone else is giving you the attention or affection you crave, or whether there's silence between you, your worth remains constant. By affirming your value internally, you free yourself from the need for validation from others. Rebuilding confidence is also about rediscovering your passions and focusing on personal growth. When we're emotionally invested in someone, it's easy to lose sight of our own needs and desires. We may put their goals and happiness ahead of our own, and in doing so, we might neglect the things that truly bring us joy and fulfillment. But confidence is built on the foundation of self-awareness and self-love. This is the time to reconnect with your hobbies, pursue your interests, and take care of your physical and emotional well-being. As the great philosopher Aristotle once said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." The more you understand what makes you happy and fulfilled, the more confident you become in who you are. Rebuilding self-worth involves letting go of any past mistakes or regrets that might be holding you back. We all have moments in life where we wish we'd done things differently, but those moments don't define who we are or who we are capable of becoming. As the motivational speaker Les Brown wisely said, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss it, you will land among the stars." Even when things don't go as planned, there's an opportunity for growth and learning. Letting go of perfectionism and accepting that you are worthy of love and success, regardless of past mistakes, will propel you forward into a stronger, more confident version of yourself. Part of rebuilding your self-worth is also about surrounding yourself with positive influences. If you've been caught in a cycle of no contact or emotional withdrawal, it's easy to isolate yourself and focus on the negative. But instead of withdrawing further, make a conscious effort to surround yourself with people who uplift you and remind you of your worth. Surround yourself with those who encourage you, support your growth, and believe in your potential. As the famous author Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." The company you keep has a significant impact on your self-esteem, so make sure to nurture relationships that inspire and empower you. Think about the areas in your life where you can focus on rebuilding your self-worth and confidence. Remember, this process isn't about waiting for someone else to recognize your value. It's about recognizing it for yourself. As you strengthen your belief in your own worth, you'll notice that the silence or emotional distance from others becomes less impactful. You won't need to rely on external validation because your sense of self is anchored firmly within you. Rebuilding your self-worth and confidence is a game-changer in breaking free from the cycles of no contact and emotional withdrawal. By affirming your value and focusing on personal growth, you reclaim your sense of power and agency. When you approach relationships from a place of self-assurance, you enter them with the confidence that you deserve love, respect, and understanding, whether or not the other person is present. your worth is constant. And once you truly believe that, you'll find that no amount of silence can ever diminish it. Strategy 6. Cultivating empathy and understanding. As we navigate the complexities of relationships, particularly when faced with silence or emotional withdrawal, one of the most impactful approaches is cultivating empathy and understanding. Often our first reaction to a partner's withdrawal or stonewalling is to feel hurt, frustrated, or even angry. However, taking a step back and trying to understand their perspective can shift the dynamics of the situation significantly. As the renowned author and speaker Brené Brown once said, "Empathy is simply listening, holding space, withholding judgment, emotionally connecting, and communicating that incredibly healing message of, 'You're not alone.'" By embracing empathy, you create a foundation for connection, even in the midst of conflict. Cultivating empathy starts with acknowledging that everyone has their own struggles and emotional baggage. The person who is withdrawing might be dealing with their own fears, insecurities, or past traumas that prevent them from engaging openly. Instead of taking their silence personally, try to understand the reasons behind their behavior. As psychologist Carl Rogers articulated, "What is most personal is most universal." In recognizing that their struggles are a reflection of their experiences, you can approach the situation with compassion rather than defensiveness. This understanding can lead to a more productive dialogue and ultimately help both parties navigate the complexities of their feelings. One practical way to cultivate empathy is to engage in active listening. This means fully focusing on the other person, putting aside your own thoughts and reactions, and genuinely trying to understand their feelings and perspective. When they do share their thoughts, resist the urge to interrupt or formulate your response while they're speaking. Instead, listen intently and validate their feelings by reflecting back what you've heard. For example, you might say, "It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed and need some space to process things." This approach not only makes them feel heard, but also fosters a sense of safety and trust in the relationship. Moreover, cultivating empathy doesn't mean sacrificing your own needs or emotions. It's essential to strike a balance between understanding the other person and asserting your own feelings. Acknowledging their perspective doesn't mean you have to accept behaviors that hurt you. As the well-known author and speaker Maya Angelou said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." By addressing their feelings with empathy while also expressing your own, you create a more holistic approach to communication. This balance can lead to a deeper understanding and mutual respect in the relationship. Additionally, empathy can be a powerful catalyst for healing. When you approach the relationship with compassion and understanding, it can soften defenses and open up space for meaningful conversations. This environment allows both parties to feel safe enough to express their feelings honestly. As you engage in these conversations, you may discover that both of you have more in common than you initially thought, leading to deeper connections and a sense of shared experience. Empathy fosters intimacy, helping to bridge the gap that silence and withdrawal can create. As we continue this journey through the video, think about how you can integrate empathy into your approach to relationships. Consider practicing empathy not only with the people you're currently navigating complexities with, but also in your daily interactions. The more you develop this skill, the more naturally it will come to you in moments of conflict or emotional distance. Remember, empathy is a two-way street. By fostering it within yourself, you create an environment where it can thrive in your relationships as well. Cultivating empathy and understanding is a powerful game changer when it comes to overcoming the challenges of no contact and emotional withdrawal. By seeking to understand the other person's perspective and validating their feelings, you create a pathway for connection and healing. Empathy allows you to navigate difficult emotions with grace, fostering a sense of intimacy that can transform relationships. As you embrace this practice, you'll find that even in moments of silence, there's a potential for deeper understanding and connection waiting to be unlocked. As we conclude our exploration of this game-changing method that beats no contact easily, let's take a moment to reflect on the powerful strategies we've discussed. We've delved into the importance of self-reflection, setting healthy boundaries, rebuilding self-worth and confidence, and cultivating empathy and understanding. Each of these elements plays a vital role in transforming the way we approach relationships, especially in moments of silence and emotional withdrawal. Remember, navigating the complexities of human connection is not just about what happens externally. It's about the growth and transformation that occurs within us. Now, I want to challenge you to put these concepts into action. Start by identifying areas in your life where you can practice self-reflection. What are your needs in your relationships? How can you set healthier boundaries that honor your feelings? As you engage in this journey of self-discovery, take note of your strengths and celebrate your progress. This is your time to shine, and your worth is inherent, regardless of the external circumstances. As you cultivate empathy, remember that understanding others can foster deeper connections. Approach conversations with an open heart, and don't hesitate to communicate your feelings honestly. When you create a safe space for vulnerability, you encourage others to open up as well, leading to richer and more fulfilling interactions. As you move forward, I invite you to embrace these strategies wholeheartedly. Each step you take towards understanding yourself and others is a step towards healthier relationships. The road to transformation may have its challenges, but it also holds incredible rewards. You have the power to break free from the cycles of silence and withdrawal, replacing them with authentic connection and growth. So if you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could benefit from this message. Let's continue to grow together as a community dedicated to understanding relationships in a more profound way. I encourage you to leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts or experiences related to these concepts. Your insights might just inspire someone else on their journey. Thank you for being part of this conversation today. Remember, you are not alone in this process, and together we can navigate the complexities of relationships with wisdom and grace. Keep embracing your journey of self-discovery, and don't forget to join us for our next video, where we'll delve deeper into even more tools for enhancing your relationships. Until then, stay empowered and connected.